Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. You're catching me as I'm just finishing my warm-up here. I'm doing a circuit of 5 exercises, which I use a fairly lightweight, something that I can comfortably do 10 reps with and feel like I could probably do an easy 10 more. The stress builds up as you go through the circuits. I usually only give myself about a minute rest between, so by the time you get to about the third circuit, you're getting pretty good lactic acid buildup. But one of the things I wanted to just share a little bit of is that, it's very important to do what's called undulating periodization. My favorite way to lift is to lift heavy. I like stuff 6 RM and heavier, so 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's just what my body seems to like the most, and my mind as well. But if you keep doing the same kind of training over and over, your body adapts to it. And paradoxically, you don't get as much out of it. So if you go from high intensity training and you drop down a bracket to like bodybuilding, then you go to a circuit type workout where you're doing anything from 10 to 30 reps with a lighter load and short rest periods where you're getting more oxygenation of the tissues, almost bordering on strength endurance training, border on aerobic type responses. It lets your body go through different phases of adaptation, stimulates different metabolic systems. And then what happens is by the time you loop back to your high intensity training, your body's fresh. Now, sometimes I'll stay at the high intensity level for maybe 2 weeks. I'll do a day of pushing, a day of pulling, a day of rest, a day of legs, day of pushing, day of rest, pulling. Sometimes I need 2 days off. I'm 60 years old now, so it's like I don't recover as fast as I did even in my 40s and younger. So I'll just listen to my body and let it guide me. I'm not training to be a superhero or win any contests, but I like to maintain my muscle mass. And as you pass, your late 40s and early 50s, your testosterone levels drop down pretty good naturally. So I find that the best way to stay young is to act young in the gym. In other words, if I start not lifting heavy things or making excuses, then I can see my body aging within a few days. But if I lift heavy things that really require me to generate a lot of force and a lot of focus, I can feel it causing an upsurge of testosterone. There's lots of good literature out there in the relevant sciences on physiology and strength training to show that high intensity training does indeed increase androgens, and I can literally feel it and see it in the mirror. My skin gets better, my body stays more lean and cut, and I just feel better, and it enhances sexual performance as well. So my secret there is, if you don't want to get old, then quit acting old. So really what I'm about to demonstrate is just a 5 exercise circuit that's really along the lines of a strength endurance circuit. It will push you into an aerobic response. It's fun. It's nice to give your body your joints a little rest from the high intensity training and do the lighter stuff. And it makes you versatile so that you can handle any environment, from having the strength to do high intensity lifting to having strength endurance to endurance, depending on how you set your circuits up and how you format your workouts. If you want to know more about these types of program design strategies, I have my correspondence course, which is online, called Program Design, which goes over the basics and the essentials of reps, sets, loads, tempos, and rest periods. And I also have Advanced Program Design, which gets into how to assess biomotor abilities, determine what each individual needs, how to design programs for people with different complications, like people with an injured back versus a professional athlete. And it is quite advanced, and I highly recommend you don't even begin to try to do that until you've completed my program design correspondence course and passed the test, because the most commonly sent back course is Advanced Program Design, because everybody's ego makes them think they're advanced and they realize it really is advanced. So here's a little snapshot, join me for a circuit. I'm doing a box lift here off on the deadlift. You can basically add about 50 pounds to the bar for how much more force it takes to get that bar up off the ground. It'll be sitting almost on top of my feet, which I do because I do a lot of rock lifting and I have to pick things right up off the ground. There's a big difference between picking them up off the bar and off the ground. I'm doing a Swiss ball arched pike. I'm doing some walking lunges. I'm doing some single arm barbell rows, and I'm doing some lateral lunge pulls. One of the things I do is I mix the order of them up. I don't always keep a fixed order. I like to throw the body surprises. If you want to make it more complex, and if you do patterns that have similar movement strategies to them, for example, a deadlift and a bent over row are very similar in that they're both using a bend type pattern. And then if you go do a lateral lunge pull, it's another pull. So if you stack 3 pulls in a row like that, it'll drive deeper into the motor system, but it'll be harder to complete that with good form. But if I alternate a pull with an abdominal exercise, with a lunge exercise, then back to a pull, etc., then you can undulate like a push-pull type orientation so that your working muscles get a rest while you're using other muscles to work. So there's a lot of strategies. I go over this type of stuff in my 2 program design courses that I mentioned. So now that I'm cooling down, I better get moving and quit yakking. So here's what it looks like. This is called a cross-arm barbell row. I learned this from the Russian Olympic weightlifting team when I was training with them in Moscow. I don't know, maybe around the year 2002 or 3. I can't remember, a long time ago. Great guys though. Next we'll do arch to pike, flat, arch, reverse, pike, straight down, follow the floor, arch, back, pike. 1 minute rest, and hop back at it, baby. Generally, I do 4 circuits. If I'm feeling frisky, I'll do 5. You'll end up with about 25 sets in 30 minutes. And that's what we call a high density workout. And it'll race your metabolism up so much, a cow won't get near you for fear of being eaten. Thanks for joining me.